Alright, I think we're on. Those joining not live, welcome after the fact. So, she's finally here, the CH-47, the Chinook in DCS Worlds. And I've just plopped her down. We're going to pick up some artillery, one or two other things, see how that works. I'm also going to fly some troops into battle in central Paris. So that should be fun, right next to the Eiffel Tower. We'll see how resilient the Uk is when it comes to taking ground fire. We've also got a door gunner left and right. As of right now, early access, the left and right door gunner was like the only option you could have for this aircraft. There were only two liveries you could choose from. This darker olive drab and a slightly lighter green colour. So, yeah. With that said and done, I'm going to fly it around. I'll let you know what I think, as with all my videos. Unbiased, unpaid for, which means, well, I had to pay for it. Nobody else did. So you're going to get it straight. I set up my controls, the basic controls, just before starting this video. That's the only thing I've done, and just checking that they work. And in doing so, I can tell you... just turn the sound down a little bit, that for anybody that can fly a helicopter in DCS, you will find this easy. When I think which helicopter is it most like, I'll let you know. It's not like any of them. I'll tell you that for now, but it probably... And I'm sure some people are going to disagree with this, but I would say it probably feels most like the Kamov when you have that autopilot mode in the setting that doesn't go for a heading or anything. It just sort of dampens your controls. Forgive me, I don't know the name of it, and of course it's Russian anyway. So if I just overlay... Oh, of course, I'm in the way. I do want to overlay the controls, because of course that'll let you see just how much input I'm having to put in. So if I just... how's this going to work? I'll tell you what. Some people say you don't even need to be there. I know, but some people like to see somebody there, lets them know body language and all, that they're not bullshitting too much, right? Which, anyway. So there we go. There is, so you've got a trim button and a trim reset. You've all, just like most, if not all helicopters, I've got those bound. I believe there's also a basic trim as well. So just before I get into picking up a crew, I'll let you know how that is. I would like to say hello to everybody, but for the benefit of those watching after the fact, that I do not see a chat window right now, so if anybody is typed into live chat, I've turned that off, just because for people watching afterwards, there's nothing more annoying than whoever it is doing the video keep breaking off what they do to say, oh, hiya so-and-so, hiya so-and-so. You just think, oh, just get on with it. And so, you know, that's what I'm going to do. Collective, I'll tell you what, the collective is not appearing on this little thing next to me here. So my, you know, as I lift the collective up and down, for whatever reason, it's not showing on that, you know, usually you'd see one of these little sliders on the left there jiggling up and down. One of these here would be moving up and down, so that's not the case. Of course, here is my collective. Yeah, as far as helicopters go, like I've said at the beginning, this is very easy to fly. So what I'm going to do is, let's just see. One thing that is slightly unusual about it, and again, I'm no expert with a Chinook. In fact, this is as close to the... Well, let's not crash into a tree. That right there is as close to a Chinook as I've ever been. That's actually my sister. She didn't fly in it. It is, of course, just at an air show. You can see there's a there's a tiny little girl sat on the other side of my sister. So there we go. That was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. So yeah, that's as close as I've been. I have flown with the Air Cadets. We used to fly in the Sea King back when that was there. We lived right next to a search and rescue station. So that was fun. So that's as close as to helicopter flying I've been. One thing you'll notice with this is you can just kick it sideways and it can just do like spin round like this no matter what speed you're doing. Now other helicopters you can only yaw like that when you're either hovering or flying very slow, so that's kind of weird. And I remember seeing at the air show this move that they did, and I'm going to try replicate it at the airfields, where they would fly really fast down the runway and then they would just sort of nose down and they'd come to a complete stop within a few seconds. It looked really cool actually to see, you know, a real Chinook doing that right in front of you. So we'll see how that goes. So I'll tell you what, I'll aim for this valley here. I assume it's just a case of going like that. Yeah, that's kind of it. I guess reduce the power a bit next time. Let's come down, and then once I've done this, we'll go and pick up some artillery, see how easy or not that is. Yeah, so this here is probably the easiest helicopter to hover without any assists. Now someone's going to say, oh well, the assists are already on and all the rest of it. All right, but in, you know, that insofar as how that is, it's just easy. So I would say anybody who's new to helicopters in DCS and struggling to fly them, probably start with this one. Probably. Right. Let's have a little look then. Where are we? Yeah, so my artillery's over there, so I need to be to the way. No idea at what point the thing will fall apart. Perhaps we can check that in this video in a little bit. MC lights come on. That's one of the things I always bound to my HOTAS because I hate seeing MC lights. It's a little bit of a... oh, it's eased off now. Yeah, so some of the time you'll just find like the back of the helicopter, like now, it just sort of wants to slide out by itself when you're cruising. And again, is that a feature of the Chinook or not in real life, I don't know. But it's certainly the only helicopter in DCS where you're going to have to put pedal down to stop the thing just doing like a 180 as you're flying along at speed. I mean, they always, you know, as you get the speed up, the propeller, the rotor that goes into the wind, the slipstream, always sort of starts twisting a bit. That's to be expected. I think that's what's going on there. And again, thankfully, I've got your trim button to just cancel that out. So here we go, we're pretty much there now. It's very, very responsive for such a big helicopter, but this is going to sound ridiculous, it's smooth in the middle and it's responsive at the edges. And some people are going to say, well, that's what you'd want it to be. I agree, but how many modules have we had in DCS where they just feel fidgety and twidgety until they get it right? And later on, you know, most modules that start off like that, they eventually improve over time. This one just, I have to say, feels pretty good from the off. I'm not going to look in depth systems wise how that is, perhaps do that for another day. So let's here we come, let's try this again this turn, and here's some of the artillery to pick up. Right, this time I'm going to reduce rotors a bit. I'll tell you what, when you reduce the rotors, rather than stopping as you swish round, you just sort of carry on sliding onwards. So there's a bit of a balance to be had. Perhaps I need to roll it over a bit more. Going to come with practice, no doubt. Right, let's try pick one of these things up then, and then we'll bring the troops into battle. So, cargoes. I'm not going to waste time trying to pick up a small box of ammo. I imagine that's going to be easy. Let's go for the artillery. And there we go. Gonna put my overlay on. Same controls. As much as I can in DCS, I try to put all the controls the same for every aircraft and every helicopter. I have the old Thrustmaster Warthog, very trusty HOTAS. Right. And of course it's set up for the A10C, so I basically tried to copy every aircraft's controls as the A10C, which doesn't obviously always work, but some people get really unhappy that you've you're setting up the wrong keybind for the wrong thing, and you think, yeah, but there's a reason why. Oh, cargo crashed. I'm not entirely sure what I did wrong. I don't think that was too crazy. Let's try another one then. Let's try the box that's 8,800 pounds. Let's see what happens here. So once again, overlay on. Perhaps that was a little bit too low. Let's... now the smoke's in my face and in the cockpit. I do have a little bit of wind on, as you can see. I don't like these static setups that some people have where there's just nothing at all. I get when you're doing a, you know, some sort of measurement, that's what you need to do, but I like to have a bit of life insofar as it's possible in DCS world. Right, coming in. Come on.
In position.
Come on. I don't know what was wrong there, but perhaps I was a little bit too high. I mean, we do have this vertical indicator. It's, to be fair, it's been a long time since I've hovered any sort of cargo in DCS, but that vertical thing was not there last time I did it. And I'm sure someone will say, oh, don't you know, it came in an update 3 months ago. No, I don't. Tell you what, because it's such a big helicopter, you forget that where you pick the thing up from is much further behind the cockpit. There we go. Right, let's lift up, let's lift up.
The line is tight.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Get an external shot. There we go. We've got it. I tell you what, lifting all that weight as I was adding collective, it's, you know, if you were to try and lift 8,800 pounds in the Huey, last time I tried, it was extremely difficult, bordering on impossible. Even the MI8 struggles with 8,800 pounds. It's possible, but it's this. It was just like, I would just compare it to lifting a couple of £1,000 up in the Huey. That was how easy it was. Right, well, let's just spin it in circles for a bit, see how that goes. It's kind of a good test for the physics of it, right?
Hello, it's swinging 4 and up. 10.
See that? There's this weird tendency for the load to just pull the bottom round of the chopper, and it just you know, I'm having to trim it forward a lot further than I normally would. It's weird for this shenanigan of a maneuver, right? That's how you saw it coming over the runway. That's sort of an angle, which to see something that big do that right in front of you looks pretty cool. Ah, shit. I'll tell you what, I'm not sure they've maybe added the ability for the rope to overstress yet. Because I'm doing some crazy moves here and it's just hanging there. I assume we can't roll it, but you know what? It's worth a try, right? Let's try it. And then we'll pick up some passengers and behave properly again. Right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, now. Oh, it's taking all day. No, that's not going to go. That is a strong rope. Okay, well, I'll tell you what we'll do then. We'll try land it. See if we can land it without breaking it. Pop it down here. Oh, we've got a bit of VRS going on. Oh, did you see it? It was just sliding down and I was pulling collective and it were too late. Cargo damaged lots of times. Oh, but I'm still carrying. Hey, look at that. The box is dinted. If my screen ain't deceiving me, that box is dinted. Since when have they added dinted cargo? Cargo crashed. Okay, there we go. Right, let's behave properly again. Let's go pick up the soldiers. I don't recall. Cargo was either it was okay or it was damaged. I don't recall there being an in-between of dinted cargo. So let's come and find these soldiers. Let's radio them. Airborne troop. Airborne troops. I think they may actually be at the... where are we? Wrong one. Right, they're at the airfield here, so I need to head east. One thing I can see being a problem is the instrument panel is a long way away from the pilot's view, so those of you in VR will probably be alright. But like me, if you're doing track A, I mean, look how far away the instrument panel is. In order to read that, I'm going to have to zoom right in and then back out again for flying, which is... You know, could they have not come up with a better way of doing that? I don't know. Maybe just the perspective would never be right, but there's not been another aircraft in DCS that I know of that has a problem with viewing the display as bad as this. This is really bad, actually. I mean... It's like, can you see it? Yeah, by the way, I'm running this on 4K, so if I have to squint at the screen to see the numbers in 4K, if somebody's on 1080p, you're already going to have to look at it like that. Alright, let's make our way. This is the Normandy map, for those wondering. Post-update, and the reason I picked it is I think it's the best looking map in DCS. And some will say, yeah, that's because it's the smallest. Alright, I hear you, but for helicopter operations, it's pretty cool. Some people are going to argue, well, it looks a bit wrong being World War II era. It does, but the soldiers were going to pick up our World War II. And apparently there's some holdout Germans in Paris, so we'll see how that turns out. Oh, a little bit of lag there. Tell you what, whoever made this map, and I'm not going to try and guess without looking it up, they know how to make a map. They really know how to make a map. I mean, this map played well day one, this World War II Normandy map. And I've never known even Eagle Dynamics get a map as good as this that played as well as this day one. In fact, I still don't think there's another map as good as this. Syria, maybe. But again, that's a bigger map with lower definition. Let's get these guys picked up then. But yeah, overall, I'm pleasantly surprised with the way this thing flies. Performance-wise, you can see I'm doing this at 4K. I'm streaming it. Granted, I'm single player, but it seems okay. But in terms of the way it feels, I mean, that's really important, I think, for any aircraft, whether it's DCS or any other flight sim. The way it feels, and there's a bit of VRS. Oh, I was lucky to slide out of that one, just. And there are the guys right in front of me. Alright, let's see. Can I pick them up now? Airborne troops. I guess I need to land first. And again, I'm sure this is the first time me flying this on stream, so I'm sure with a little bit of practice, like most of them, you'll be able to do a real nice quick approach. Unbelievable to think they were flying these things around Vietnam, right? Unbelievable. One thing I like about this, okay, it's a minor thing, is you've got brake pedals left and right separately. Right, embark, squaddies. On you go then. Of course, DCS being DCS, they run towards a helicopter and then teleport. And one thing I would love to see, assuming they haven't already integrated it, which appears they haven't, is to actually then see the soldiers inside the aircraft. You know, if you pick up 3 guys, you're looking back, you should see 3 guys there. But I don't know why it's such a difficulty for Eagle Dynamics to implement that. It's been like that ever since, you know, I've been flying DCS for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, whenever the first VR thing came out. Right, let's go. One thing for those who don't either fly helicopters, who don't pick people up, one of the things they added in DCS a while ago, a year or two, was if you pick up a bunch of guys, those guys weigh something and the helicopter then gets that additional weight, which is really cool. But yeah, I have to say, this thing being as powerful as it is, it doesn't even notice that's the case. So for those who couldn't be bothered to read the description or joined late, these guys are actually flying into combat now. There are some enemy soldiers in Paris by the Eiffel Tower. So we'll give them a flyby, see if they want to shoot us down first and how resilient the aircraft is. And then once that's happened, we'll land nearby, let these guys off. We do have 2 door gunners. I didn't modify the skill, so the skill is whatever the skill is. And we'll provide some assistance from the air. I'm not sure how wide the rotors are, but I'm guessing I didn't have that much wiggle room between those trees. And there is the Eiffel Tower in the distance. I have seen it from the distance, but I've never actually been to the Eiffel Tower. I literally saw it from, I don't know, half a mile away. I went to the Arc de Triomphe instead. If I'd have had more time, I would have loved to have gone also. Did you know that the Eiffel Tower gets taller during the summer? I think it's 6 inches taller. Nothing to be inferred from that dirty wise. But yeah, the heat of the sun makes it taller. Not only does it make it taller, the Eiffel Tower actually leans towards, or is it leans away? It leans away from the sun because the side of the tower facing the sun gets hotter, and so that expands more and it slightly pushes it over to one side. If you don't believe me, Google it. Not that Google's necessarily always a fountain of truth either, but I should shut up now. So we're talking about the Chinook. F4 view, we've not checked that out. Let me just get my bearings through these chimneys. There's the F4. Gotta say, I quite like that. Sometimes it's an afterthought with developers where to stick the camera, but not this one. We've got the MC light on again for reasons unknown. I'm sure it says it somewhere. But that would require reading the manual, and that comes after these initial impressions. Alright, so quick flyby then. We will expect, or I will expect, to get some sort of small arms fire thrown up at me. Oh, well, I certainly heard it. I need to zoom out. You can see, oh yeah, look at the bottom of the helicopter, covered in shrapnel already. I'm actually not seeing the tracers, but they're down there. Alright, well, I'll land in the garden as we see it, just to the left of the tower then, and let these guys off, and then they can go do their thing. Yeah, I'm not seeing any tracers, so perhaps the Germans didn't use tracers, I'm not sure. I find it difficult to believe though. Oh, I'm wondering if I've been... Oh, perhaps I was just doing a crazy attitude there. This looks like an ideal landing spot just to the left. Very, very... I know I said it earlier on, but for those joining later on, you've got very, very powerful torque pedals in this. You know, there's no tail rotor, but the two main rotors move in opposite directions. So if you press left pedal, the front rotor moves slightly to the left, the back one slightly to the right, and it rotates around the middle, right? Right, let's pop her down here. There we go. Brakes on. And airborne troops, disembark. Off you go. Really, you have to click it that many times. I hope I didn't squash that bike on finals, but I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention. And look at them, they're going to run off through the bushes and deal with those holdouts from the Reich that are somewhere over there. Alright, well, I guess we're slowly getting to the end of this video, so I'm just going to go a little crazy for the end of it until we write her off and just see how far we can push the hook. There is a unsteadiness to it when you're really pushing it to the extreme. Like it's, I don't know how else to describe it. If you know, the MI8 is a good example. Those of you that fly the MI8 ever, when you took that too fast, it would start to become unstable. There are other helicopters, you go too fast, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, and then the thing just falls apart. This feels kind of like the Mi-8, but it's when you're putting in a lot of power as well. Just the way it just likes to do this means you can't get too lazy with the pedals. It just wants to, once it starts that, if you let it, it'll just carry on sliding out. I didn't put right pedal in there. Wait, you can see from the controls I didn't. So you definitely, you don't need much pedal, but you just need a little bit. Oh, yes. Yes, she's an aerobatic one, is this one. Let's try that again. Round something more substantial. I mean, I'd love to do it up the Eiffel Tower, but the Germans might have something to say about it. I'll tell you what, we were going to offer them a bit of support anyway, although we do have this... I was going to call it church, but I'm sure I'll offend somebody by that. More like a cathedral, but I still won't put money on it. Yeah, that MC light coming on there, I'm not sure if that's because I overdid the rotor or the torque or RPMs or what exactly. Oh, there is a bit of a delay though. It's not like you instantly... it tips up like the Huey, or actually a lot of helicopters, if you've got the power in and you pull up, it goes up straight away. I mean, you can rip the rotor off if you're not careful, but this just seems to sort of slide through it somehow. Like, so you got to be a little careful in there. I was hoping for a little more left and right. It's very, like, your wise is it, yeah, your wise is extremely snappy, probably as much or more than any other. But pitch wise, when you've got speed in, it's not that you can't pull up, it just slides through it. So it's left, but yeah, like you can just do that and come out the other side, which kind of reminds me of the way the Gazelle used to be. Maybe still is. That thing was ridiculous. I can't believe they got away with that for as long as they did. I realise after about 3 or 4 years they've finally decided to update the Gazelle. And but if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch an old video I did with some, I think it was the Apache giveaway or something video I did flying the Gazelle. That was crazy. Right, full collective. Yeah, you can. I'll tell you what, if you have to pull back and it just slides through, if you yaw it to the side first and then roll it, you actually seem to get much more of an effect of pulling back that way, which seems kind of weird, but that's what's happening as of right now. I have to say, for a day one thing, and I realise it's been delayed and delayed and delayed, and I'm not going to get into that in this video. Wrong time, wrong place, but it seems alright. Oh, here you go. Let's try getting it into a little gap then. Much easier to do in VR, a little gaps, as anybody that flies VR will tell you, including myself, who, I don't know, I spent 4 or 5 years in VR and then I went back to track AR, and let me tell you, if anybody tries doing that, it's like learning to play the game all over again. It is really difficult to go back. But VR sucks for making videos, so it's sort of a choice, isn't it? Right. I'm not sure they've added the ability to overstress, because I've been yanking, as you've seen, every which way. And you may say, oh, well, there's a computer that's automatically preventing you from stressing it. Okay, maybe. Maybe that's why I'm sliding through when I pull up. But I don't know. Let's give the Lord a visit. See if we can land on his house. If I get the forward wheels just beyond the cross that is the roof, and I don't know, let's try pop it there. Oh, sort of, not really. Oh shit, sorry, didn't mean to set fire to your roof there. Still is a thing in DCS, isn't it? You clip the roof in any, well, aircraft it's over anyway, but in the helicopter you just clip a roof or any structure and it sets fire to them. I wonder if we can take it under the Eiffel Tower, and then I'll try over speeding it, and if that don't kill us, we'll try loop it. Right, here we go. Yeah, there's this, it says you're accelerating sort of all in. There's this unsteadiness about it. There was a tree in my way there. Still taking fire. There's a shakiness going on right now. Could of course be that all of that fire has damaged us somewhat. And left boot, in we go. Well, all's well that ends well, right? We'll keep pushing it worse and worse and worse till the thing flies apart. Oh shit. Another MC light. Just click that off. Ignore that MC panel there. We're getting more and more yellows. But do you know what? Let's just pause briefly. I'm just seeing, have we got any damage? You know, I wish when you paused it, the rotors paused as well rather than that. But as best I... Okay, you've got that usual sort of shrapnel look that DCS has to everything. Somehow, these must be expert marksmen because they've completely peppered the engine, but just after the engine, there's not a single shot hit anywhere. It's these German snipers, right? Aye, she's shaking. Okay, this will be a challenge. Whenever a helicopter starts falling apart like this, they're always easier to fly if you get a bit of forward momentum. I mean, that's the case anyway, let's be fair, but there are some, if you do it right, if the tail rotor comes off, as long as you get enough forward speed, you can save the day. Some. Right. Let's pop it over here. Shaky, shaky, shaky. Oh, I'm trying to push the nose forwards. That must be related to the damage somehow. Yeah. Yeah, if this were real life, I'd be looking for a, you know, a long level field. Been in an engine failure in real life, actually. Single engine aircraft as well. That was at RAF Linton on Ouse back when that was still an airbase. This is really not easy to fly, but it's always fun in it to try and I feel like I'm riding a bike with the rudder pedals now. I don't think there's enough room anywhere around here to put it down, even if everything was hunky-dory. Maybe here, this industrial spot or this farm, some sort of grain. Yeah, this is now a challenge. Easy now. Oh, suddenly the thing decides to yaw. Oh hell, man. It's as if I've damaged one of the rotors and not the other, so every time I'm changing power, what I'm doing with the collective has to completely change. And there we go. Oh, I didn't realise I'd hit that. Alright. Hey, look at that. That's that building that, where's it gone? Oh. It's suddenly, the fire's suddenly gone out. That was a huge amount of smoke to suddenly disappear. But things not looking so good down here. Yeah, I have to say, initial impressions for this thing, I'm pleasantly surprised. Now, just really quick before I do go, I just wish to show for those people who are wondering, what can you do with the Chinook? And the answer is precious little. I mean, there's a lot, obviously transport is going to be its primary role regardless. But you've got the door gunners, and I don't know if this is set to change or what. I couldn't tell you. So if we get the thing here, player, if we take a look at the setup, just so that we can see all the liveries, like I say, you've got dark green, and you've got the so-called standard, which is just a lighter olive drab. So you've got dark olive, light olive. The darker one has got the traditional aircav, the well-known patch there. Reading yet another book by another aircav pilot. Escapades from Vietnam days. Always exciting to listen to them. And if you take a look at what can it do, so if we set the task over to nothing so that there is no, sometimes some of the tasks block some of the payloads out. If we create a new payload in use, okay, give it a unique name, you can see the only thing that you can do is choose between left door gunner or right door gunner. That's it. You can have one or the other or both or none. But other than that, there is nothing. There is no weapons, there's no fuel tanks, there's no nothing that you can put on the thing. Those smoke pads. Apparently it does have chaff and flare, though. That's one thing we didn't look at real quick. It does seem to be a whole bunch of I'll say a whole bunch. There's a fair few. Left hand failure, 1, 2, 3. Right hand, 1, 2, 3. To do with the fuel senders. There's a lot of, quote, fuel sender failures. And we've got hydraulic pressure. That'll be interesting. Tell you what, that will be the end. The hydraulic failures. Let's set all of those. Hydraulics. Let's just get the whole shebang. After 0 hours, within 1 minute, 100% chance. So we're going to have all the hydraulics guaranteed to fail within 1 minute, randomly somewhere between 0 minutes and 1 minute. But otherwise, it's a transport aircraft. You can certainly lift up heavier things. You can certainly lift more troops. I imagine they're going to carry on working on it and add some sort of a... I couldn't tell you because I've no idea what the real life variant particular was used for. Yeah. Right. Beginning what can only be described as the initial descent. Come on then, gimme failures. Ah, looks like we maybe got some. Although, I'm not convinced those are hydraulic failures. Oh, we certainly got them then. The entire controls just went, like it went from everything fine to no response whatsoever. Granted, the speed was up. Alright, I think that is a great end to the video, at least from my perspective. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope it influenced you to buy one way or the other. And until next time, wherever in the world you may be, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Take care. Bye-bye. Where's the button to stop the thing from thinging?